I wanted to show an example of a cursor flow, which that also continued down this path of thinking about things from an agentic workflow. So it's going to be a little rough because it's not like super prepared. We have this form library. Basically, it exports all these components. And so we needed a way to build these components. And so I was looking at how to create a component library fast. This guy did this article, and he's working with Vite in a very kind of similar setup that we have. And this is basically essentially what I needed in the end. But I was able to copy and paste this into ChatGPT, like O1 here. And I gave it the copied and pasted information and said, okay, write notes on how I can make a component library using Vite based off of this article. And so it distilled the information for me and made this. And then in Cursor, I was able to chat, and I took that article, or the distilled version of that article, and I said, hey, based off this article, our goal is to make a component library that is tree-shakeable. I'm providing instructions. Let's update them with the knowledge of our code base to provide a more contextual prompt to our cursor agent. And so I did this command enter the whole code base. I searched through some files and gave it some context. And then it provided an updated instruction set that was better contextually for our code base here. And then I looked through that and I said, okay, that seems great. I copied this and I went to the composer and I went to the agent mode and I pasted it in and I sent it off on its merry way, and it searched through our files and it added things for me. It installed this blob package for me and said, I'm already doing some of these things. And then it all worked. It was pretty amazing. And that one actually didn't need too many changes. I mean, I needed one or two, but you can see here, it added all of these external things for me. It added this input blob mapping for me. And so this determines how I build. And then now when I build, it has a nice built TypeScript files, map files, index files. Pretty amazing. Any questions?
It's very cool. That's very interesting. I wouldn't have thought to take the chat and then put it in the compose, since you can usually apply the stuff from the chat, but that's really cool how it did all the like npm installing and all that. That's very interesting.
If you're doing a longer project that's more than just focusing on one file, you can give it a game plan, and then you can provide context to it. If you spend just like a few more minutes giving your prompt the context and examples that it needs to be smart, and then send it over to the agent to go, it's going to do pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, that's very cool. Very
It only does.
Big hat to ask, because you're the cursor expert. Do you know why when I go into agent mode, I can't reference folders, only files? But if I don't do agent mode, I can reference folders in the context.
I think that'll change. Cursor does do file searching for you. I don't know if that's part of the decision making, or they just didn't want to overwhelm the initial context, but it didn't matter too much if you just tell it which folder to look in, because it can do those.
It reads, it's like reading the code base and adding its own context.
It can search through files.
Yeah. Okay.
But especially if you do it in the chat first and then say, give me a execution plan, and then it'll make it nice and neat for you, and then go to the agent. That's a really good workflow.
Very cool. Thanks for sharing that.